Justifying factors. You're going to educate clients on accidents, the difference between a non-chargeable accident, chargeable accident, property damage with injuries, and the difference between a few different scenarios of an accident. Now, your job is to determine what type of accident it was, to get a little bit of some feedback so you can at least understand the situation. Now, there's a few insurance companies that may give you the details of how much the insurance company paid for the accident. So, for instance, there may be a company that shows the actual amount that the insurance company paid. So, for example, $10,000, or maybe $3,000 or $2,000, whatever it is. Now, the most important thing is to understand that every accident is different. Now, accidents are going to be considered almost the same if they're chargeable or if they're not chargeable. So let me give you a quick description. If it's not a chargeable accident, it really doesn't make too much of a difference, but you could also use it as value. You could add value if you have multiple non-chargeable accidents. And realistically, there's a few companies that if you have more than 3 non-chargeable accidents, they're not going to give you any coverage. They won't offer you insurance simply because those non-chargeable accidents could have been either way. So insurance companies consider that as a high possibility and a high risk simply because you have a lot of claims. Now, is it normal to be involved in a lot of accidents? Not necessarily. So when you have a lot of violations or a lot of accidents, then it creates a little bit of a high risk possibility, and insurance companies want to eliminate that. So if you have a customer that has multiple accidents, you could use this as a way of adding value, educating them. Look, I know it wasn't your fault, sir, but let me just share exactly the way insurance companies work. If you have one accident non-chargeable, it doesn't affect you whatsoever. The insurance company is not even going to consider it in any way, in any negative way whatsoever. Now, when you have multiple non-chargeable accidents, insurance companies start to investigate, to evaluate the situation, and sometimes they consider that it could be a possibility of a high risk. It's not your fault either, sir. This is just the way insurance companies work because they go based on statistics. They go based on the fact that you've already had 3 accidents within the last year, 2 years, so you may be involved in another accident. That's just based on statistics, nothing negative. Their job is also to protect themselves by not being in a situation where they're going to lose money. So don't worry, the company that we're giving you, the company that we selected, the company that's giving you the most affordable rate, they're actually very flexible, and those accidents don't really affect you. So you can still use it as value. Now, a chargeable accident. Now, this will be the key. Determine what type of situation it was. A little bit of details, not too much. You don't want to get into too much details regarding the accident, but I want to find out what happened. I want to hear a little bit of the client so that the client can share a little bit, because we all think it wasn't our fault. It doesn't matter what the situation was. I'm always going to say it wasn't my fault. I was driving. I was paying attention. They stopped in front of me, and I ended up colliding into the other car. But the law states, whoever hits, the law states that if you're involved in an accident and you hit someone from the back, you collide with a car in front of you, then you're automatically at fault. Or another law, if you're involved in an accident and you're making a left turn, whoever's making the left turn is at fault. So those are 2 rules within accidents that you're automatically considered at fault. It doesn't matter what the situation. It doesn't matter. Maybe they're right. Maybe the other person stopped out of nowhere and I had no option but to run into the car, to run into the rear of the vehicle. But the law states that whoever was in the back, whoever hit the other car, is at fault. So when you gather a little bit of information and you share that with them, then they're going to understand. They may not be happy, and you're going to tell them, look, I understand. If I'm in your situation, I wouldn't be happy either, but these are the laws. Now, they're going to give you a little bit of information, and sometimes they're going to tell you, look, well, I was making a left, but I know there wasn't any car. So you can tell them, look, sir, I understand, but the law states that whoever's making a left is responsible to double, triple, to check before making a left. So the whole concept is to gather a little bit of information, get a little bit of understanding, see if they can tell you how critical was it, the damages, just to get a perspective, because you could use this to add a little bit more value. Now, when we're talking about the amount for an accident, if you know, based on maybe some documentations or based on the reports that we're running through the insurance companies, if you know the quantity of the accident, then this is a validation of how much the insurance company paid, and we could use this 100%. For instance, I saw an accident. Well, I saw the report of an accident, and it stated that the company paid $20,000 for damages and $10,000 for bodily injury. So when I'm talking to the client doesn't want to pay $40 more because they were paying $150. Now their insurance company went up to almost $300. So we found something around the 200s, but it was about $50 more. So the customer kept stating, I'm not paying more. I'm not paying more. I don't care what the situation was. An accident is just an accident. I'm not going to pay another $50, $60. I'm going to continue to shop around. So when I pulled the report, luckily I had the report, so it gave a lot of validation to my presentation. I showed them, look, the insurance company, it doesn't matter what you're telling me now. It doesn't matter how the accident occurred. It doesn't matter if the damages to you were $2,000 or $500. This is the reality. The insurance company paid $20,000 for property damages, $10,000 or more for bodily injury. So we're looking at a total of $30,000 that the insurance company paid. So it doesn't matter what, not in a negative way, but it doesn't make a difference what you thought at this point, because when you're involved in an accident, the other person may get a lawyer, they're going to get a body shop, they're going to go and go to the doctors for, to have a little bit more of a reason to go after the insurance company. And at the end of the day, the insurance company is going to be responsible to pay. So maybe the damages were $5,000, but the insurance company paid $20,000. Trust me, the insurance company doesn't want to pay, but that's the reason why they honor and they give you coverage, because they're taking responsibility for that accident. Would you rather pay those $30,000, or you're glad the insurance company covered them? Everyone's going to say, well, the insurance. Fantastic. So therefore, look, your accident wasn't an accident of $1,000. The insurance company paid $30,000. You can shop around, go anywhere. They're going to run this report. And when they run this report, they're going to show $30,000. Matter of fact, I work with 70 different companies. I only have 10 companies that are giving you coverage, because the other 60 companies, they don't want to give you coverage because they see this report. This is on your history. It's like your credit report. If you have a collection on your credit report for $30,000, do you think someone's going to give you credit? Absolutely not. And if you still owe those $30,000, they're not going to give you any credit whatsoever. There's no bank, no credit card, no financial institution that's going to give you credit, simply because you already have a collection account for $30,000. Now, this is not considered a collection account for you, but it's your history. You were involved in an accident, and unfortunately, the insurance company paid $30,000. So therefore, the insurance companies don't want to take that risk because it's already on your history. Now, they're not saying it was your fault. They're not saying shame on you. They're not saying you shouldn't deserve low rates. They're saying this is on your history. This is a situation that you were involved in. This is something you encountered. So therefore, they want to take more of a cautious approach and not give you coverage. The good thing is we work with 70 different companies, and there's companies that they don't really take this too much in consideration. But guess what? You are going to be responsible to pay a little bit more. So the whole concept is you need to educate them. Tell them it's going to be off your record in 3 years, sir, so don't worry. 3 years, you're going to be affected for 3 years. Keep your record clean. Do the best not to be involved in an accident. Don't get any tickets, and you're going to be okay. Now, the bodily injury situation works almost the same way. Now, you're going to use the whole concept. Look, someone got injured, sir. I understand. Maybe it was something basic, but someone got injured. And you know what? We can't really go against it. Maybe, yes. Maybe they were a little bit more of exaggerating on the situation, but someone got injured. If you get injured, you're the only one that knows how you feel. I wouldn't be able to tell you, look, you're not injured at all. So therefore, they made a claim that someone got injured and the insurance company was responsible to pay for those damages, for those bodily injury damages, bodily injury cost. So therefore, you were responsible for those situations. Now, the way the insurance companies work, they're going to hold you accountable at least for 3 years. So educate them, give them the details of the situation, let them know how critical it was, let them know how critical it is, let them know how insurance companies work, how they evaluate all of these accidents, and convince them that without the accidents, they would be qualified for something lower. Encourage them to keep the record as clean as possible. Encourage them not to be involved in an accident or not to get any tickets so that their rates could drop, and just be positive about it. Now, educate them, give them information in a positive way. Don't give them the information in a negative way, because it's only going to get them a little bit more defensive, more upset.